Well, is war coming to our country? If not, then why did 16 countries just team up against the United States of America and are now literally begging the UN to act against our country? What am I talking about? Well, take a look at this article on zerohedge.com. 16 countries are now pushing the United Nations to condemn U.S. unilateral sanctions. Now, you can see this is a very recent article published March 13th, but the article goes on to state this: China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and other countries subject to U.S. sanctions are seeking support at the United Nations to push back against unilateral sanctions and the threat of force. The effort by 16 countries and the Palestinians argues that unilateral measures are against the UN Charter. A letter from the group seen by Reuters says multilateralism, and I quote, is currently under an unprecedented attack, which in turn threatens global peace and security. The article goes on to name all the countries involved, and you can see them there. I'm not going to read them, but that's included along with China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. But they go on to say this about the group, and I quote, the group says, the world is seeing a growing resort to unilateralism marked by isolationist and arbitrary actions, including the imposition of unilateral coercive measures or the withdrawal from landmark agreements and multilateral institution, the note from the group reads. But here's what the letter also stated, and it said a senior diplomat, speaking of those particular conditions, said this: these so-called friends are the ones who have done most to breach the charter. Maybe they should start by respecting human rights and fundamental freedoms in their own country. Now, this is very important because, first of all, these 16 countries who are teaming up against the United States of America, that's basically what they're doing when they're going to the UN saying, we feel that there's some kind of unprecedented attack from the United States of America because the US has put sanctions on our country. And because these sanctions are on our country by the United States of America, this goes against the UN Charter. In other words, there can be no repercussions if one country does something to another country. That's, in a sense, what's going on here is these countries are teaming up, say, oh, they're not proportionate and this shouldn't happen. So, remove these sanctions or tell the U.S. to start removing those sanctions. This is a very thin line, if you will, that could lead to things like, I don't know, war. Which the United Nations hasn't been real good about stopping wars over the years. It seems that they have really encouraged more rather than stopped them, in my personal opinion, right? I mean, for countries literally to team up like that, and we're talking massive countries here, China, Russia, with Iran, I mean, that's a melting pot of chaos that are saying, this shouldn't be done by the U.S. And the U.S. is basically doing anything they want, right? The United States of America is withdrawing from agreements and pulling out and doing what they want. Here's the thing. The United States of America is the one that funds the United Nations more than any other country in the world. Who is in second place? That would be China. But the United States of America pours more money into that thing than anyone else. And now they want to team up. And here's the thing. That's not really fully adding up in my mind, is these countries are saying that we are pulling out of all these deals, which President Trump did. And I was very happy about him pulling out of the climate accord, getting out of the Iran nuclear deal, getting out of, defunding the United Nations. But now that we have Biden back in, he's put us all back in that. We're back in who? We're back in the climate accords. We're funding the United Nations. And they're going to put this out at this time. Why are they doing it now? Because Biden's in charge, you see? So now that Trump's gone, they can harass Biden because they have no fear. There is no fear. And that's something that I think we should have, a president should have. Trump did what he needed to do and took charge as a president who treated countries respectfully, but also with an authoritative hand, right? Anyhow, this is why this kind of stuff is important, because of these next articles here that I want to show you. Moscow, and this is on RT, Moscow promises retaliation if the U.S. places previous banned intermediate range missiles in Japan within range of Russia's border. These are just, warnings from other countries we have. And then we also have this, how the U.S. could sleepwalk into war with China. We know we are very unstable right now with China. And here we have news articles publishing things like this one here as well. And this is on thenationalinterest.org. And it's, what would war between America and China look like in 2030? And let me just tell you, this article is very clear that it's not going to be good for the United States of America. And although this is projected in the future, that doesn't matter. The timing of this article is very recently. It was written in February 2021, late February. But the bottom line is we're not only defunding our military, we're bringing them home to attack our own, if you will, putting them on stand down, talking about maternity suits in the Air Force, right? I mean, what? Pregnant women fighting. I don't know about all that. It's just all this stuff and this cancel culture, infecting all of our brains, and this racial, systematic racism that supposedly exists by the very air we breathe. I mean, come on. What is that doing to the United States of America when other countries are looking in at us and they see us going crazy over cultural madness, cancel culture, woke supremacy, and we're fighting among each other. And I mean, we look like a freaking mess. That's why these countries strike when they do. Let's get together and go to the UN, because the United States of America is in a hot mess. And they know with this new stimulus package that they just passed, that's going to cripple our economy. We're crippled already. I'm just waiting for the dominoes to fall. That could be who knows when. Who knows when? But I'm not the only one who knows it. These international countries know as well. Anyhow, I wanted to bring you guys all of that. Please don't forget to check out my partner at hidewithlisa.com. If you guys don't have a VPN, you got to get one. You got to get one. You can't be in this culture that tracks everything you do and leave it without being on your phone or computer. I have it right here on my phone, and I also have it on my computer, and I put it on all my family members' phones because it protects against DDoS attacks, hackers attacking your phone, and anybody who just wants to track your information. It's none of their dang business. So check it out at hidewithlisa.com. Sign up today, 50% off for life. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.